All right. Welcome to our next session on unlocking ATS Gold with candidate rediscovery. In this session, you'll learn how to build high-quality pipelines and maintain warm relationships with people who applied to your company in the past. I'm Andrew Kreitzer, a product manager at GEM. Prior to GEM, I was part of starting the economic graph team at LinkedIn and building analytical tools at Tableau. Now I'm focused on helping full cycle recruiters be successful and have great outcomes using GEM. Fun fact about me, years ago, I accidentally started an international DJing career by publishing a few radio remixes on the internet.
Hi everyone, my name is Fumi. I am a customer success manager here at GEM. Prior to joining GEM, I worked at HackerRank as an enterprise customer success manager, working with TA and technical teams on improving their hiring process and evaluating technical talent. Now I work with our clients to get them onboarded to the platform and ensure they effectively use GEM in their workflow to meet their hiring needs. One fun fact about me, during my spare time, I actually enjoy making French macaroons. Throughout this session, if you have any questions, we encourage you to submit your questions to the Q&A panel on the right side of your screen. We will be saving some time at the end to answer any audience questions.
So I've just opened up an anonymous poll for everyone, and you should start to see results come on the screen. Let's see. Oh, I can't publish it yet. Here we go. You should start to see results come on the screen. The question is, I regularly search through past applications to find qualified candidates for my open recs. We're seeing some results come in. We have some somewhat agrees, somewhat disagrees. I'd actually love, for those who are in the somewhat agree or neither agree or disagree, could you write in to the session chat as to why? Why do you think you disagree or aren't able to, or what are the challenges that happen here? We really have a nice split room here. ATS makes it a pain in the rear. This is one we hear a lot. Any other thoughts? +1 to that. I'm with Steve. Okay. Finding applicable job recs is hard at times. Okay. Huge volume of underqualified people to sift through. Makes a lot of sense. Tagging practices make it hard to search through. Perfect. All right. We've done a ton of research on this at GEM. And the three main reasons that we see our customers having challenges with ATS rediscovery is search functionality being limited or cumbersome. There's no Boolean search, maybe there's no fields that you're looking for, like most recent title or company, or those fields are unnormalized. So maybe some people write New York City, some people write New York, and it's hard to go through and sift through it. The second reason we see challenges here is that profile data can be out of date or is outright missing. So you might be missing key information about that applicant that helps you make a decision. The third reason is missing context. So the activity about that application in the past is hard to track and sift through. It takes a lot of time. So now Fumi is going to run through what we'll cover today to address some of those challenges.
I'm going to review some of the things you'll actually be able to learn and take away from today's session so that you can begin incorporating them into your team's workflow. You're going to be able to understand the benefits of candidate rediscovery. We'll also teach you how to use candidate rediscovery in your current workflow. And we'll show you some examples of various use cases of using candidate rediscovery in GEM. In today's market, finding talent will depend on a recruiter's ability to leverage new sources of candidates. There are many ways that our customers benefit from re-engaging qualified candidates from their ATS in GEM, but there are three benefits we really want to highlight for you today. First benefit we are going to highlight is the ability to achieve higher conversion rates by re-engaging already interested talent. You'll also be able to reduce job board costs by leveraging already existing candidate relationships. Lastly, with candidate rediscovery, you'll be able to facilitate long-term relationships with high-quality talent to position yourselves to be more competitive. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Andrew to highlight an impressive data point we want to share on the benefits of engaging and sequencing rediscovered candidates.
Our team at GEM conducted internal research looking at the response rate of candidates that were rediscovered in your ATS versus those who were newly sourced. We found that going and sourcing candidates that had already applied to your company results in an over 20% increase in response rate, which is pretty amazing, but also not surprising. These applicants are already familiar with what your company does. They're already interested in your organization. And this 20% increase plus results in cascading effects in the recruiting funnel, leading to more hiring opportunities downstream.
I'm going to go ahead and share a story of a GEM customer who is struggling to find qualified SDR managers that fit their requirements of having over 2 years of experience in the SDR role while relying on inbound applications and engaging cold prospects on LinkedIn and Indeed as their applicant pool. As I'm sharing this story with you today, I'm going to share how you can actually use GEM to help you unlock their ATS gold. We spent time training their team on leveraging GEM's candidate rediscovery to surface past SDR silver medalists who made it to the on-site stage and received a majority of positive scorecard ratings who they had rejected 2 to 3 years ago. Once we built out a talent pool with qualified candidates from their ATS and CRM, they leveraged GEM automated sequences utilizing the send on behalf of feature to send out outreach to their talent pool on the behalf of the vice president of sales. As you can imagine, they started gaining interest from candidates and converted them into the interview process. Our client was able to unlock qualified candidates by rediscovering past SDR applicants they had rejected 2 to 3 years ago that went off, got promoted into managers, and were looking for new opportunities. Once his client opens a new rec, they start by building their talent pool and engaging candidates in GEM candidate rediscovery before going out to source on other platforms. I'll pass it back to Andrew to talk to us about some of the other use cases our customers have for using candidate rediscovery.
Awesome. So leveraging all of the data in your ATS and helping enrich it with the context that GEM has, GEM is able to help you do multiple kinds of candidate rediscovery. I think oftentimes when I talk about candidate rediscovery, it gets this kind of blanket understanding of what it does. But if you break it down into some different kinds of searches that you can do with candidate rediscovery, it becomes super powerful. So today, I'm going to walk you through 3 common use cases. 1, silver medalists. 2, declined offers. And 3, inactive referrals. Each have a different approach, and I encourage you to take these back with you to your organizations. So we'll start with silver medalists. Let's jump into discovering silver medalists using prospect search in GEM. Prospect search search is the one place to go to search across your entire GEM CRM and all of your applicants in the applicant tracking system. We have a number of filters available, but the one that's most relevant, the section that's most relevant for candidate rediscovery is the one that says your ATS name and applications. In this case, I'm on Greenhouse, so I have a number of filters available to me. One of the fastest ways to get started with silver medalist search is to use our Save Search. We have one called Silver Medalists, which is a great way to start, but certainly not the end of my search. I'll go ahead and click on this, and I've brought up candidates who were declined, they declined our offer, and candidates who we rejected because we preferred another candidate. There are also ones who have scorecards that are over 50% positive. So I've returned back a sizable population here. Let's work on narrowing it down. I know that we use another rejection reason at GEM called Nurture hired another candidate. I also know that we have a policy where if someone's interviewed in the last 6 months, we want to hold off in re-engaging them. So I'll filter on those that haven't been in process in the last 6 months. Finally, I can filter this on the job that I'm most interested in filling. In this case, I'm looking for sales development. Because this is a contains filter, it will include sales development senior roles as well as sales development more junior roles. So this is a good way of including multiple roles within the same department. Now I can start to review these 107 individuals and understand which ones I want to re-engage with. One of the best things to do is to save this search for later. SDRs to re-engage silver medalists, and make it available to everyone on my team. All right, so one key takeaway from our silver medalist search is to start with a quick search on silver medalists, but don't stop there. Use some of those filters on the left-hand side to narrow it down to a set of relevant candidates. Next, I'll walk you through how to look at declined offers and what kind of action you can take on them. A really powerful way to do a candidate rediscovery search is to look at individuals who have received an offer from your organization but declined it. In this case, I'll look at sales development as a role that people have applied to, and they haven't been in process in over 6 months. I can filter on those who have made it to the offer stage, leveraging this filter under the greenhouse applications or the ATS applications filter section. I get back 3 individuals and I can see quickly what their rejection reason was. In this case, Joyce declined our offer because they were looking for remote opportunities only. Now, if our company has changed our stance on remote hiring, it might be a perfect chance to engage with Joyce. Also, with Zola, I can see based upon data refresh where they're working, and that context might help me know whether it's a good time to reach out to them, whether Audit Board is doing well or Harness is doing well, or maybe it's a time that they might be looking for a change. Those are some of the ways to leverage the insights from data refresh and rejection reasons to make declined offers a really powerful search. Okay, last up, so declined offers are a great, very curated list. Last up, we'll go into inactive referrals and how to check those out. Let's talk about referrals. Referrals are great sources of talent. Referrals are great sources of talent. They tend to have lower costs of hire. They tend to stay at your company longer, and they tend to be great employees. But not every referral has the skills that they need to get the job that you need them for. One thing that I love about GEM is we can go into past referrals and find those who have gained additional skills that make them qualified for the jobs you need. So the way to do this is to look at our sources filter and filter on referrals. Then I might want to look at those who were rejected because they lacked the skills or qualifications needed at the time for the job, but it's been more than 12 months since they last engaged with us. These 20 individuals have gone off and gained valuable experience at the companies here. And I can even screen for companies that might be familiar to me in order to have targeted outreach for the organizations that are most similar to mine and the experiences that might be most valuable to bring to our organization. This is a great way to bring back interns or those who have applied multiple years ago and have gained the valuable skills to contribute to your organization. Awesome. I see some great questions coming in. I'm wondering if there's any we want to address now or wait till the end of Q&A.
Yeah, we can wait till Q&A.
Okay, perfect. So we will address a bunch of those in the Q&A. So those are 3 examples of using candidate rediscovery, but I encourage you to come up with your own save those searches for you and your team to be an example in your organizations. Those searches are dynamic. And so every time you go back to them, you will get the latest results. And in fact, those searches can also be automated so that they run periodically, and candidates that match that criteria are automatically added to a project. That's a new enhancement that we just came out with in the last month or two. Speaking of enhancements, let me walk you through a couple new things that you should know about. One is location-enriched search. So we've taken the information that we can deduce about a candidate's location and normalized and standardized it so that you can look at the country, state, metro, or city level. And you can do this with an inclusion or an exclusion filter, which is really powerful depending on what your hiring strategy looks like. Coming later this year, we're also adding a pop-up review flow, so you can look through candidates in the prospect search results without having to change a lot of context. We're really excited about this, reducing the friction to go through a list of 20 or 30 candidates in a fast manner. Okay, now I'll pass it to Funmi to close us out, and we'll open up for Q&A after that.
Thanks, Andrew. Some key takeaways are you can search, organize, and re-engage past candidates from your CRM and ATS. Candidate rediscovery is a smart and efficient way to accelerate your hiring. And last but not least, you can build into your workflow for every new open requisition and see the result for yourself. And that concludes this content for our session today. But before we move into Q&A, please let us know how you're feeling about candidate rediscovery and unlocking your ATS gold within GEM. So now we will actually go ahead and turn it over to our audience Q&A. And if you haven't already, please send in your questions to the Q&A panel, and we'll go ahead and start answering those for you now.
Okay, so I see the Boolean search question. Here's an interesting one. At the top of prospect search, we've made a ton of improvements to how the big search bar works. It now includes not only resumes, but it includes all of the fields that you see many of the fields that you see along the left side in the filters. So you can use that top section to put complex Boolean searches that will also apply to the candidate discovery use case. That could include things like skills or job titles or past companies, anything like that.
It looks like we got a question from Austin. When saving these searches, will they be living and breathing lists or static? Andrew, I'll pass it to you.
They are absolutely living. So every time you go to that list, it will run a fresh query. And like I started to mention, you can actually automate those searches to run automatically. So you'll get a notification in your email when new people match that search and have been added to a project automatically for you. I have one running right now that's around interns who previously applied to our company so that we can re-engage them for full-time offers. And so every so often I get a set of matches for candidates where it's been over a year since they last applied, and it's a pretty fulfilling email to get.
Thanks, Andrew. Next question is from Christopher. How do you automate the candidate rediscovery search?
So I think of this as kind of a crawl, walk, run type approach. I think the best thing to do is to start with curating your own searches, finding a pool of people that you want to automate and that you feel is like a valuable group of individuals, and then make a project to put them in. And what you can do is go to Save Searches, and you can just click Save actually at the top right corner. And in that window, you can select the project you want to automatically add them to.
Thanks, Andrew. Next question from Javier. Best practices to find frontline workers using the prospect search. Also, any insight to tagging practices for team to easily filter?
Good question. I'd have to dig into the individual use case and probably understand it better. I would say, like, if you're looking for skills and frontline workers, then maybe using that free text search with a long set of OR criteria could be good. But I would love to touch base with you and understand what you have in mind and see if I can come up with something that will help you.
Our next question is from Cody. Will there be filtering options added to projects one day?
This is a great question. There are some filtering options in projects, but what we're actually doing is we're going to have prospect search. You can filter on in a project and run all of your advanced searches on that project within prospect search. So one of the filters along the left side is projects, and you can select a group of projects that you want to limit your search to. We're also excited that we're going to be adding not in project filter, which is going to help with some more complex operations of excluding people that you've already looked at, for example. That's coming later this year.
In our next questions from Karen, is there a filter to add a future contact on your saved searches to re-engage?
I'm not sure I fully grokked this one. Fumi, any?
Yeah. Karen, if you don't mind actually putting in the Q&A, just giving us a little bit further context into what you're asking there, and we can help you out.
I assume this might be after you've found people, is there a person who will send the sequences for you? And there isn't right now a way to like designate someone to follow up with these individuals, but I would love to hear your thoughts on that, to see how maybe we could take a manual process and automate it for you.
Thank you all for your questions. We have a couple of minutes left. If you have any additional questions, feel free to throw them into the Q&A section, and we can answer those for the next few minutes here.
Awesome. I see one from Karen around. Can you automate to reach out every 6 months to check in with prospects to see if they're looking? That is something that is a logical next step for us after automating the project, to automate sequence sending. It's something on our roadmap. I don't have an exact timeline for when we would be able to do that, but it is something we're interested in. So will the recording be shared today? Unfortunately not. So, but Funmi and I were talking about before this whether we want to record something to share with our customers. And if you found it valuable, please make sure to share your feedback. Actually, we just opened a poll for how satisfied you are with the session. We would love to have your feedback on what you found, or whether you found this satisfying or unsatisfying. Your candid feedback is great. Fumi, any other questions you think we should dive into? Or I think we're...
Second. Oh, it looks like we have one last one. We can answer this last question that actually just came in from Jeff. Gmail has this feature where it reminds you if someone reached out 3 days ago, for example, and you should respond. Is there a capability like that planned in Gem? Great question, Jeff.
It is a great question. We have some to-dos type features where we remind you about in-mails, but there is more that we can do there. Maybe Jeff, maybe we can reach out to you and understand